Started today. Those of you who have your acoustic guitars, get them ready for today's lesson. Folks, again, my name is Angela Petrilli. I am here with another edition of the Riff Rundown with the awesome folks at Fishman. Today we're going to be looking at Your Time is Gonna Come by the mighty Led Zeppelin. Yes. So looking forward to teaching this to you guys today. It's one of my favorites. The chords are fairly simple here, okay? But we're gonna be doing some really interesting techniques and some really cool ways to play these chords. And towards the end of the lesson too, I'm gonna show you some other things you can do to really build up the sound and foundation of the song. So before we get started, folks, Tom, good to see ya. Instagram, I see you. Facebook, YouTube, I see you guys. Thank you for being here. Before we get started on this lesson today, what I would like to know is, folks, tell me where you're tuning in from, okay? And your favorite Zeppelin album. So where you're tuning in from and favorite Zeppelin album, go and grab your acoustic guitar. Let's put it in standard tuning and let's get started. Okay, so what's happening here is, well, first, let me play the tune for you a little bit and we're gonna break it up again like we always do, part by part, nice and slow. As I always say, you can't play anything fast, you can't play slow. So, see? Guitar is on, let's do this. So that's what we're going to be doing today. Again, we're going to break this up bit by bit. It's going to be a lot of fun. Get your acoustic guitar, put it in standard tuning, and let's see. Ooh, we're getting Zeppelin 2. Oh, love it as some favorite Zeppelin albums. Physical Graffiti, a great one. Yes. Zeppelin 2, lots of Zeppelin 2 love. Houses of the Holy, that's my favorite. Houses of the Holy is my favorite Zeppelin album. I love them all, but I've got a special place in my heart for House of the Holy. Loving this, folks. Zeppelin 4, Zeppelin 1 and 2. You gotta pick one, guys. You gotta pick which one. Love it, love it, love it. Again, thank you all so much for being here. Let's get started. So again, those of you notice I'm playing a different guitar. This is an SC13E Martin guitar. I love this thing. We'll get into the specs of it a little bit later. But let's go ahead and get started with this intro. So what we're gonna do here, it's based D, C add 9, and G. Those are the three chords that we're basing this intro off of, okay? So what we've got here is we're gonna arpeggiate this D chord. What does that mean? We're just gonna pick the notes that are in the chord. That's all we're gonna do. Just like that. So what we're gonna do here, grab your pick. There's going to be a lot of hybrid picking happening here today. So those of you, get ready. Definitely have a pick handy with this tune, okay? So here is what we are going to do. Pick open D string, then pluck the G string, with your middle finger, pluck upwards on that E string, and then come back with the pick on that B string. So I'm gonna do that nice and slow here. Just like that. All right, first part, D chord, not too bad. Now what you're gonna do is you're gonna pull off with your middle finger. See how I did that? It was placed on the 2nd fret, that F sharp. And then I pluck outward. A pull off. Just like that. Then go back, B string, G string. Isn't that beautiful? That's sustained. So what happens here, what chord is this when we lift up our middle finger? That becomes a D sus2 or a D suspended 2. That F sharp on the 2nd fret of the E string is being replaced with an E. That is your 2. Pretty cool chord. I like it. So D chord. Let's do that one more time. Now what we're gonna do here, this is C add 9. The way I like to tell my students, it kind of looks like a baby G chord, kind of, sorta. So what you're gonna do here, your 3rd finger, keep it at the 3rd fret of the D string for this entire intro. Keep it there. Think of it as your pivot finger, okay? It doesn't move. It's that foundational finger that does not move, okay? It's gonna make the switching of these chords back and forth way easier. So keep that in mind. That 3rd finger, pretend it's glued there, okay? So. Okay. To our C add 9. Notice how the 3rd finger didn't move. Let me show you what the rest of the fingers are going to be doing. Your 2nd finger, 3rd fret A string, that's your C. Your 1st finger is going to go on the D string 2nd fret, that's E. G string, open. 3rd finger, remember, D note, 3rd fret, B string, it's locked in there. You're going to then place your pinky finger, 3rd fret, E string, that is your G note, okay? So when we play the chord, that's what it sounds like. Really, really pretty. A lot of times I will substitute this C add 9 for a C chord. If it works, I'll do it. A lot of times it does, and it's a really, really pretty chord. Okay, so. See how I did that little bit of a hammer on to get to that C? So that open A string, hammer on with that 2nd finger, 3rd fret C note, okay? Let's do that again nice and slow. So what's happening there? We're plucking all of those notes there again. Hammer on that A string to the 3rd fret, pluck the G string. With your pick, G string on the pick, the B and E string, there's the hybrid pick, E string, B string. Okay, again. Just like that. Again, let's do D to D sus2 to the C add 9. Take your time here. All right, now, next bit. I'm lifting the pinky finger. Notice how that E string was engaged. Open G string, pick B string, open E string, lift that pinky finger. Again, for that open E string, okay? So from the top. Okay, let's do that again. Cool, right? Isn't that beautiful? Let's play it to time. One more time. Really, really beautiful progression. Nice and open. Another pretty chord. All right, so. Now we're gonna go to G. Now remember what I said about that third finger, keep it there. Keep it there again, it's our foundational pivot finger. Don't move it. Okay, so now we're gonna go to G. I like this version of the G chord when I play this song. Usually most times when I play, I like to use this version of G. Okay, because I like having that added D note there, that added fifth. Sounds good, it's nice and full. You could, I know a lot of us know the three finger version. It's okay, it works still. It's still a G chord. Why? You have the B present here, which is your third, but you can also replace it with that fifth as well, 3rd fret B string. Okay, so both work. This is the one I like to use a little better. All right, so here we go. Here's what's happening now with G. See how I hammered on again? Open E string this time. 2nd finger hammers on again, but this time at the 3rd fret of the E string. That's your G, that's your root. Okay, let's go ahead and do that again nice and slowly from the C add 9. What we do after this now, open G string, B string, lift that pinky again, E string, open, okay? Nice and slowly in context, playing it from the top, here we go. Again. One more time. Okay, there we go. Now to speed. Again, beautiful, beautiful. Man, Jimmy Page writes some good stuff, doesn't he? Isn't that great? Now the riff. Let's get into that. 2nd finger, we're going to be putting it to work here, okay? Here's what we do. We're coming from that G chord. Let me play that correctly. Okay. 2nd finger, 3rd fret, A string, your C. You're going to do a hammer on, A string open, then hammer on 3rd fret of the A string, C note. All right. Now, after that, open D string. Again. Now, we're going to hammer on at that 2nd fret D string. But when we hammer onto that D string, we're going to do here, this is where the hybrid picking comes in handy, okay? Your pick is going to hit the D string. But your 2nd finger, your middle finger, what that's going to do is going to pluck the B string, 3rd fret, at the same time. So you get this. It's dissonant, kind of weird, but that's what makes the riff really great, okay? So again. Hear that? You're gonna do that hammer on one more time on that D string. To your D chord, notice. See what I meant about that third finger? See how important it is to keep it there? It's your pivot for everything in this song, for the intro. Look how flawlessly we get back to the D chord. Okay, so that's why. Take your time with this because it's such a cool technique. Keep that third finger there. Okay, so let's go ahead and try this again, slowly, and then we'll play it to speed. Let's do it a little bit more to speed. That continues on through the verses. So, if you want to continue with that, great. If that's a little too advanced for you, totally cool. What you can do, if you want to do more of a level 1 sort of thing here, just play the D chord to C add 9, and then play that riff. Okay, so you can do that too, but it's so fun to do the hybrid picking and like arpeggiate all those chords. It's just awesome. So that's the intro, that's the verse. Now there's this really cool little bit here. And then goes into the chorus. Let's talk a little bit about that for a moment. Here's what's happening slowly. Again. When we break this down and we play this slowly, it's not as, it doesn't sound as scary as you might think. You can get your hands around this. It's a really, really beautiful part. So let's talk about what's happening here. Again, this is a D chord. It's just an inversion of one. So this is just another new way to play a D chord. Not great. So why is that? Well, let's go ahead and look at the notes here. You have your open D string. You have this note here. Hey, look at that. It's another D note. You're getting this octave happening here. Your third finger, you're going to go ahead and want to place this on the 7th fret of the G string. Okay? Just like that. Your pinky finger, go ahead and put this on the 7th fret of the B string, B as in boy. This note here is your F sharp, is your 3rd, okay? Now your first finger, place that on the 5th fret of the E string, that's your A. So when we put these three together, D, F sharp, and A, those are the 3 notes that build a D chord. We see them here, they're just in a different order. So this is a really cool new way to play D, okay? So, here's what we do now. Now we want to play the tune. Keep in mind that we're going to keep this D string, this open D string, droning through all of this. See how I did that? That D just, it's gonna start off every single one of these chords that we do in this walk down, okay? So that's how we want to play that. What are we doing with our right hand? Here's what's happening. Pick on the D string. Pick on the G string. Pick on the B string. And your second finger pluck upwards on E. That's how I like to do it. I find it's nice and it moves very efficiently. For my brain, this is how I like to do it. If you have another way that works for you, great. This is how I like to do it. Just like that. One more time. Okay, so that's what we're doing there. Now this is the next chord. D. Let's talk about what's happening here. So, looks a little wacky, but I promise you can get your hands around this. Pinky finger, go ahead and place this on the 7th fret of the E string. That's your B. B as in boy, this note here, okay? Your first finger, what you're going to do, lay it across. One finger across 2 strings. Lay it across the B string 5th fret and the E string 5th fret, just like that. Okay, this is going to come in handy later. I know that my pinky is covering the 7th fret of the E string, don't worry. We're gonna release it in the next bit. So keep it there like that, okay? Your second finger, place it on the 6th fret of the G string. This note is C sharp, okay? Isn't that beautiful? So we've got a C sharp here. You've got your E here and a B. Pretty chord, all right? So from the top, and again, picking pattern exactly the same. Pick D string, pick on the G string, pick on the B string, second finger upwards pluck on the E string. Okay, not too bad, right? Not too bad. Now notice that shift between this D here and this, I don't know, I'll call it, I guess, an A9 without the A, I guess. Watch the movement to there. So keep that first finger in position. On the D chord here, right? You have that first finger on A. All you're gonna do is flatten it. Pinky goes down. Lift the third finger. Second finger goes to the C sharp on the 6th fret, okay? Again, not too bad, not too bad. Now what you're gonna do next for the first chord, or the next chord, is we're gonna play an A chord. Okay, again, and then I'll play it in context and I'll tell you how to do it. Oop, not like that, don't do that. Notice, all I did was lift the pinky out of the way, showing us our A chord here. Our A, 5th fret E string, our E, 5th fret B string, and the C sharp 6th fret G string there, like this. Just another inversion of A. We have an A here, but we have a regular A here. But notice how they sound different. Cool stuff, right? So, again, from the D chord, A, lift that pinky. One more time. And picking pattern exactly the same. The pick is going to pluck the D, G, and B strings, pluck upwards with that second finger on the E string, okay? So from D. Now, we're gonna bring this shape back. Remember that new D inversion shape. We're gonna bring it back, but this time, first finger is gonna go on the 3rd fret of the E string, that's G. Pinky finger, 4th fret, B string, that's E. and your third finger is going to go on the 5th fret of the G string. That's C. Those of you keeping track, this is a C chord. This is a new way to play C. Again, another inversion. Pretty cool stuff. So that's what's happening there. Okay, that's C chord. So now what we're gonna do, I have some people asking if this is in standard tuning. The answer is yes, we are in standard tuning here. Okay, and after this, I'm gonna go ahead and answer some of your questions. So keep writing them in the comments. I am seeing them flow in, keep writing them, and then right after this, I'm gonna get to some of these questions live. All right, so we've got D. Now to that new C chord. See how the droning D string is still there, picking pattern exactly the same. And guess what? We do the same thing as we just did, just a whole step back. So let me show you what I mean. First finger, go ahead and put that across the E string, 3rd fret, B string, 3rd fret. Those of you keeping track of what notes we are playing, G, 3rd fret, E string, and D, 3rd fret, B string. It's always good to know where your notes are, folks. This is how we can really go ahead and build chords and scales and solos anywhere we want. So it's really good to begin to, I don't want to just call out numbers to you. I want you guys to know what notes you are playing in this, okay? So that's across there. Pinky finger, put it on the 5th fret of the E string, okay? On that A, don't worry, it is going to be released in the next chord, okay? So now we're gonna do here, 2nd finger, 4th fret, G string, that note is B, B as in boy. So we sound like that. Very Hendrixy, I like it. Okay. So we're gonna do here, same exact picking pattern as the chords before it. Okay, so that's what's happening there. Now, let's go ahead and do this. Lift the pinky to show this new G chord. Play that D string too. Okay, the whole thing from the top. To our D chord here. Okay, pretty cool stuff. I'm going to play it slow a few more times, and I'm going to go ahead and play it to speed. To our D chord at the end. Go back and arpeggiate it towards the bottom. Why not? Sometimes I do when I play it. Like that, okay? One more time slow, then we'll play to speed. Okay, now I'm gonna play it a little faster. Now, if you wanted a little bit more fuller and you didn't want to just arpeggiate downwards, you can go upwards too. That's how I like to do it. And I kind of double it. So that's a way you could do it there too. So from the very top, intro verses into this riff here. So. Pre-chorus. do that one more time. We'll get to the questions. Okay, so that's what's happening there. I'm seeing questions and all that good stuff. Let's go ahead and take them live here. Does Jimmy Page finger pick this or use a pick? Really good question. I am actually not too sure. He may just finger pick this. He may be doing hybrid picking. I am not sure. I know when I play this, I like to hybrid pick this song because I like to have, I really like the difference between what the strings sound like with the pick and the difference between how they sound with flesh against the strings. Sometimes or most times with the way that, the flesh and your fingertips work, it brings about a warmer tone of the instrument. Whereas this, as I like to tell my students, and this is one of my Petrilli picks today, these are the cheapest amplifiers you could buy ever, is a cool pick. So, but I like that tinniness and the brightness that comes out of a pick versus, like, say, a thumb. Hear the difference? So it depends. So when I am playing live, I really like to have those peaks and valleys of having the ability to have that sound of flesh on the strings. Right? But then say I wanted, for the verses, let's just say a song was really, really delicate. I would go ahead and mainly use the fingers to play. And then say a chorus was big. You use the pick again to make these peaks and valleys when you play. So you have the option of being really loud, but if you need to be quiet and delicate, you have that option as well. So that's why I'm a big, huge fan of hybrid picking. I love it. Great question. Okay, so let's see here. The opening keyboard segment is difficult to transcribe on guitar. I'm sure that, how epic is that beginning? I just love that intro with the keyboards and all that good stuff. Oh, it's so good. It is so, so good. All right, folks, let's see here. Very, very resonant high string focus chords. Yes, yes. It's neat to use these different inversions to go ahead and play. Because again, the song wouldn't particularly sound the same if I played these chords and played like my A here and my C and G here. It wouldn't be as climactic, perhaps, and then, like, you're leading up to this really, really awesome anthemic chorus, so that climbing up, I find, is just so, so cool, and those inversions that he uses in here, I think, are just really great. So I hope you get those under your fingers and get to playing these and using it. But yeah, so I know I'm getting a bunch of questions about this guitar, so let's go ahead and talk about that for a minute. Folks are asking if this was the guitar I used for the Guitar Center commercial, and the answer is yes. This is a guitar that I use. This is a Martin SC13E, and I absolutely love this thing. As you can tell, it's got a cool, different kind of body style. I really, really like it. For inversions and definitely stuff I'm doing higher up on the neck, I like using this guitar a lot. Super, super bright. It's got a triple O depth and is really, really comfortable to play. I love the neck. The neck's got this really cool helix shape to it that, as a player and someone who plays a lot of acoustic as well as a lot of electric, there's a lot of similarities between an electric neck and acoustic neck in here, but it's still like a little different. So I'm really, really loving this guitar a lot, and it's just so, so fun to play. I really like the tone of it, and it's a Martin, but it's a new, like, edgier interpretation of what an acoustic guitar is and what an acoustic guitar should do. So I figured for this song, this felt like a really cool guitar to bring out for this song. So as far as pickups are concerned, I've got the Fishman MXT in here, and it's got a tuner on board too, which has been massively helpful for a lot of stuff. It's always good to have a little tuner. Then I'm going through the Fishman Aura Spectrum DI. I have it set to the same presets as the black acoustic, my 00017 that I use for these lessons as well. So I've got it the same presets just because they're both that 000 depth, and it's yeah, it's the silver box that I just love, that I bring to all my acoustic gigs. It's such a great pedal, and I really like it. It's nice to have your own DI. It's always helpful. And I just love the acoustic images on that. So again, it makes life way easier for a musician who's doing lots of gigs and stuff. It's a great piece of equipment. So if you guys haven't heard of it, be sure to check it out. Man, does it make playing live gigs so much easier, and live gigs are like slowly coming back. So like, yay. What I've got as far as amps are concerned for the tones here today, I've got a Loudbox Performer by Fishman. Really great acoustic amp. I love the response and the tones of it. And again, just with the Fishman gear, they make the guitar sound as it should, which is something that's really important to me, particularly when it comes to acoustic guitar, because we buy an acoustic guitar because it sounds great acoustic. And I think with all of the stuff that Fishman comes out with acoustic guitars, it really just makes your guitar sound as pure as it would if you were, in your living room jamming with your friends. So that's what I'm going through here. I'm being mic'd up with an SM57, and then out to all of you folks. So happy you are here. Let's see. So those of you who are just tuning in, thank you all so much for being here. Let me know. So those of you who are just joining us, let me know where you are tuning in from and your favorite Led Zeppelin album. Okay, so let's go ahead and get back to this. And again, if you guys are having a blast, be sure to give us a follow. Follow the folks at Fishman. They're doing some really great stuff. They talk about really awesome content. Be sure to check them out on YouTube and Twitter and Facebook and all of that good stuff. Lots of good shows happening on the Fishman channels, and I am so honored to be part of the roster over there. There's some really great talent and just amazing musicianship, so be sure to go and check it out. And you can follow me, Angela Petrilli Music, on all the socials, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, all that good stuff. If you're having fun, be sure to subscribe. So let's go ahead and talk a bit about the chorus, okay? So the chorus is 2 chords. They're based around 2 chords. We have some different voicings, as you noticed. I perhaps did some suspensions with that D chord. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and play that again. You'll see what I did there in a second too. So the chorus is based around D and G. Now there are some suspensions, as you also notice, that I threw in a C add 9 too. I sometimes use that to add some depth to this song as well. If you're feeling like you just want to add that added C chord, you can totally do this as well. Again, just embrace the energy of Jimmy Page when you're doing this, because again, he never played the same song, or he never played the song the same way twice. Just what an incredible musician, and absolutely one of my favorites, not only on electric guitar but on acoustic guitar too. So with this D chord, hammer on from D with the D sus4 with my pinky on the 3rd fret of the E string. I'm gonna do that again nice and slow here. Okay, and again, we're mimicking the verses, that are the things that are being sung, the melodies in that chorus, that your time is gonna come. We're doing that here. And then to our G chord. So that's what's happening there. If you find that this bit is perhaps too difficult, then just stick to a D chord, that's fine. Let's go ahead and get you thinking about how to play this. So again, D to D sus4, back to D. D sus2, lift up that second finger, releasing that F sharp and engaging the E string, the E note. Again, that's what makes it the D sus2, is that E note in that chord, okay? So let's go ahead and do that again nice and slow. Again. Then what I do there, I just hit, because you can call it a D5 because I'm not hitting the third at all. So I'm strumming only the D string, G string, and B string of that D chord. I'm not giving any acknowledgement to the third, okay? Again, that's gonna take a little bit of technique here, because I know those of us, particularly who are beginners and intermediates, you're gonna want to strum everything, but this is a good technique to just be mindful of. Sometimes when we have chords, we don't always strum all the strings all the time. So this takes a bit of practice, but it's so, so well worth it. It's a really cool thing to do. So again. I'm gonna do it a few more times. There you go. And also notice, using the pick, see how light my right hand is here. Okay, we don't want any messiness here. So something that I tell my students too, we don't want to be too aggressive on the strums. Let the pick do the work for you here. Whether you're using if you like the thinner picks, great. If you like heavier picks, great. We want for this, and what I tell my students, like how to hold this pick. What you want to do, see the pointy end here? Have that always face, or always have it pointed towards your stomach, okay? See how the pick was always pointed this way? When you start doing this, see how you can hear the peaks and valleys of those notes and those strings? That may not be the desired effect that you would like in your strumming. This is something I see with a lot of guitar players where they think they have to do that. In fact, you don't. Keep it pointed towards your stomach and let it do the work for you. Give it the power from your upper arms, your elbows, all of that, right? Even a little bit of wiggle in that wrist. And that's all you need. Let the pick do the work for you. Again, it's the cheapest amplifier you can buy, okay? So don't overthink it too much with the pick. Again, we don't want to point upwards and downwards because we don't want that in our strumming all the time. Sometimes for effect, it's a cool thing to do for like an ending of a song or something like that. But generally when we are strumming, we want to keep this pick consistently pointed towards the stomach, okay? More times here. Then we go to our G chord. And again, notice that third finger did not move. Pivot finger, keep it there. It's gonna make this switching so much easier, so much clearer, so much more consistent, okay? See what I mean? So let's go ahead and do that again. Again, D to G. Again, notice I'm not playing super aggressive here. Let the pick do the work for you. As you notice, the way that I like to strum, I'm getting a lot of power from this upper arm, right? Bicep, tricep, having that elbow as that windshield wiper type move that gets you nice, good broad strums. The reason why I like to do this. Notice how you can really hear the sustain of the instrument when you have those wide strums, right? Versus if you have short ones that say only are the width of the sound hole. See how the strings don't ring as much? And I could still do the same time, but have wider strums, again, coming from that elbow, versus where you cut a lot of that sustain out. With beautiful songs, particularly on acoustic guitar, that sustain just makes or breaks a tune. So make the space for that sustain. Don't be afraid to have broader strums. Now, you don't have to like strum so hard and like hit your face. You don't need to do that. But just try. I encourage you to try it. And also notice this too. I am working naturally with the way that my arm works. See how it's not a straight line? Your arm moves and out, kind of like a wide U. See what I mean there? See how it's not straight? I know a lot of us guitar players think, oh my gosh, we have to play straight when we strum. But if you really look closely, there's a bit of a curve, a bit of an angle, right? So think about that. Let the arm move naturally, because this is something I get a bunch of questions on when it comes to strumming, is let the arm move naturally and as freely and as comfortably as possible. Because again, we want this to feel like second nature here, and particularly with a song like this, we really, really want that right hand to be incredibly comfortable when we are strumming the instrument. Notice, again, like a wide U. A really wide U, that's what the arm is doing. Okay, I know for some of you this is super, super basic stuff, but again, take what you will from this. There's always stuff we can learn at, any sort of, place we are in our playing and any level that we are at. But think about that. We don't want to be too massively aggressive because again, we're just going to really hear those peaks and valleys of those strings. Sometimes we don't want that. So from the very, very top of the song, here's what's happening. I'm going to do it slower and then I'm going to do it fast. And then we're going to get into this percussive bit that's happening here, which is very, very fun. So. See what I mean? Nice light touch here, folks. And again, the chords are simple. The way that we play them, thoughtful. Give it some thought. Give it some good intention, okay? So, also too, which you may have noticed, when we get to the verse into that pre-chorus. Yes, that was something I wanted to mention. Let that D string ring, which gives you time to be like, oh, where's that inversion? See what I mean? So from that riff, See that move? Work on that. It's a really, really cool little bit. It gives you a second to breathe, compose yourself, get to that inversion. Okay, so now let's go ahead and talk about that percussive bit that happens right before that second verse. So again, the chords D, C add 9, keep the third finger there, folks. G, third finger in position, okay? You're gonna do this F over C, which is kind of fun. I like this chord. So, what is this? How do we play it? We're gonna use these 4 fingers here. First finger, place that on the first fret of the B string, B as in boy, that's your C. You're gonna go ahead, second finger, second fret, G string, there's your A. Third finger, third fret, D string, there is your F. But what we're gonna do here, third finger, bring it up to the third fret of the A string, which is your C. Your pinky finger takes its place underneath it. Pinky finger plays the F on that third fret of the D string. So here's that chord. And we're not gonna play this bottom E string. So just like that, okay? So when it comes to the percussive, I just wanted to add that new chord just so you guys know it and can follow along. What we're gonna do here, you're gonna hold your pick like this. But see how my hand is nice and open? Like that looks like chicken or a rooster, however we're gonna think about it, okay? You're gonna go like this. You're gonna hit the strings. You're gonna slap them with these fingers while still holding your pick because you're gonna need it in a few minutes, right? Or a few seconds. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay? So we've got it's fast, but we're gonna take this slower now. So 1, 2, just like that. Now notice how my hand is on a little bit of an angle here. I'm keeping the pick away from the strings, being held by my thumb and my first finger. It's tucked away. So by the time we go to that D chord, it's ready to go and engaged, okay? So I'm gonna do that again. D, C add 9, G, F over C, then we go back to D. So I'm gonna do this a few times, and again, follow along. Again. Again. All right. On the song, it sounds like super aggressive. He's like just totally going at it. It's a quick switch, but you can do it. Take your time. Again, as I say in these lessons, you can't play anything fast, you can't play slow. So really take your time with this. Practice that slowly. The chords are basic. You know these already. So it's just a matter of engaging and applying this new technique. Hitting those 3 fingers, middle, third, and fourth, on those strings. And sometimes the pick hits the body of the guitar. It's okay, it adds to it. You're gonna feel a little bit of tenseness here. It's okay. We're building up new muscles. It's always a good thing. So pretty cool, right? So that's basically it. That's the tune. So what I'm gonna go ahead and do is I'm gonna play the whole thing. I'm gonna play it to speed and have your questions ready. And after that, I'll give you some other things that you can add. Say you want to play this song with some friends and there's going to be multiple guitars. I want to give you some options that you could think about, particularly in the chorus itself, and things you can do to build up instead of having to play in the same space. You can go ahead and add in inversions. So here's the tune. time. Now to our hits. Repeats. You guys know the tune. So yeah, this be in time. Just practice slow first. Practice it slow. Practicing this to a metronome is something I highly recommend. Always a good thing. Always good to have that little drummer on your shoulder to remind you that you are either in or out of time. It's always a good thing. It humbles you as a musician. I again will say this over and over again, how absolutely wonderful incorporating a metronome in your playing is. It's really, really great. So yeah, with that, again, that technique, first those 3 fingers. It's our time to be a drummer in this song. Back into it. Okay, so getting to, say you're playing the song with some friends and that chorus, it's D and G, and you're like, well, it's pretty easy, like I don't want to just do that. What you could do is just do different inversions. Hey, look at that, you can play this version of D on top of this chord. We know that that's D and G, so guess what? We know another version of G here too, just from that walk-up that we just learned not too long ago. So, notice how these two sound well together, or sound good together. So what we're gonna do here is you have this G triad that we know already. First finger across the 3rd fret of the E string and that B string, G, and this note is D. You have your 2nd finger on the 4th fret of the G string, that is going to be your B note. What you can also do now is extend it even further. Give yourself another G to work with. Put that 3rd finger, this time on the 5th fret of the D string, and then just play that. That's another G chord. It's a little more extended, right? This one pretty much takes care of the first 3 frets, but this one takes care of 3, 4, and 5. So notice how those two can sound very good together. And if you really want to get fancy here, you could do a suspended 4, so a G sus4 over this too. Getting your pinky, placing that on the 5th fret of the G string. That note is C. And sounds really awesome. So, that's what I'm going to do here, D to this G, and then suspend it. Notice how that sounds. So that's just one option. Those are 2 inversions of G chords that you can use. There are many others up and down the neck. Again, keep this in mind. The 3 notes that you need to make the G chord, G, B, and D. 1, 3, 5. Okay? For D, D, F sharp, and A. So if you can find these 3 notes on the strings, you can find new and really cool and interesting inversions of those chords. Okay? So definitely, I wanted to plant the seed there for you guys to think about that. You could even do it here, D and G. And do that G suspended again. Let's talk about that one. I'm gonna get to some questions and we're gonna call it a day, folks. This has been so fun teaching you guys. I absolutely love playing the song and I hope you guys had a great time with this today. So, we've got this D shape here, watch. First finger across the 10th fret of the B string and the E string. All right, 2nd finger, go ahead and place that on the 11th fret of the G string. G is in go, that's your F sharp, that's your third. Your third finger, place that on the 12th fret of the D string. Hey, that's where things start repeating again. There's your D note, okay? Now, what you can do here, so there's your D chord there. Say you want to do a D suspended 4, just like we did with the G up here. Place your pinky on the 12th fret of the G string. Let's have a listen to that. Beautiful, right? I love suspended chords. I love suspended chords. They're so fun. So check this out. Hey, wait a second. We can play the, just because we play a chord one place doesn't mean we can't play it anywhere else. We did it here too. There's another version of G. How do we know this? Well, let's go ahead and look at the notes. Your middle finger, second finger, place that on the 7th fret of the E string. That's B. So that's our third from G. Checked off the list. Okay, now we need to find the 1 and the 5. First finger, place that on the 7th fret of the G string. Hey, very cool. There's D. There's your 5. Check. So now, third finger, we place that on the 8th fret of the B string. There's G. There's your 1. So the way that this has been laid out is D, G, and B. Those of you keeping along with the number, right? The numeric formula of this chord 5, 1, 3. D, sus4 to D, to G, there too, why not? Place your pinky, this time on the 8th fret of the E string. There's your C. So pretty cool stuff, right? So listen to that. Again, I'm planting the seed here. I'm just wanting to give you guys ideas. So there you go. So there are two different inversions of D, of the D chord and the G chord that you can use along with the D and G chord here. You'll notice a few times that I did put in a C add 9 in that chorus. It'll sound good too. It's okay to do that every once in a while as well. Again, it just thickens it up a little bit. So folks, that is your time is going to come. That is my lesson for today by the awesome Led Zeppelin. I hope you guys had fun. If you enjoyed yourselves today, be sure to subscribe to all the awesome Fishman social channels. Check out all the good stuff that's going on there. And be sure to subscribe to my channels too, Angela Petrilli Music. You can go there on YouTube and Facebook and Twitter and all of that good stuff, and Instagram. Be sure to say hello. Let me know how these lessons are going for you too. Post us or tag us in your videos and let us know how things are going and moving along. I hope you enjoy them, and I sure enjoy these as well. Thank you all for the kind comments too. It's been really, really cool. It's an honor, and I'm very grateful and thankful every week that I get to do this and get to teach you guys how to play some of my favorite tunes. Again, we'll be back same time, same channel next week, 12 p.m. Pacific time, because I'm in Los Angeles. So folks, be sure to subscribe to the YouTube and all the socials to make sure you get your alerts on when we're doing these again. So again, this was such a blast. I'm seeing there's a lot of love for this guitar today. Thank you so much. This is the Martin SC13E. Be sure to check this out. I did a really cool, fun video on this with the folks at Guitar Center, and you can go ahead and check that out on YouTube too, playing this thing and showing you guys what this thing can do. But I'll be bringing this one back to other lessons too. So yeah, I mean, this is a super fun one to play. So next week is going to be acoustic too. I haven't chosen the song yet, but I will let you guys know. And again, thank you all so much for all the good vibes. I appreciate it, and I am, again, this is just such a blast. I really, really enjoy this. So everybody have an awesome weekend. You guys take care. be kind, stay safe, all that good stuff. I look forward to seeing you at a show real soon. Cannot wait. Everybody, take good care. We'll see you next week.